one team that you might be able to say, hey, we're gonna shut them down as the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they were dealt another major blow yesterday. Their second first round draft pick, running back Travis Etienne out of Clemson, suffered a foot injury. It's a Lisfranc foot fracture that will cause him to likely miss the entire season. Again, this is a huge blow to a team that really has a dearth of weapons, dearth of talent. And you know the famous adage, the rich keep getting richer, the poor keep getting poorer. And unfortunately, this applies to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who already entering the season were just bereft of talent and beset with deficiencies and issues and dysfunction. And all this drama, all this dysfunction, all this disarray that's clouded the Jacksonville Jaguars in the preseason alone is now, again, coming to the forefront right now, before we even start the season. And for all of Trevor Lawrence's life, he's been privileged. And not in a bad way. He's been very fortunate. He's been naturally gifted. He grew up in an affluent family. He was a winner every single place he went. He, as a freshman at Cartersville High School in Georgia, he became the starting quarterback. He won 2 state championships in Georgia. Then he enrolls at Clemson, wins the national championship his freshman year at Clemson. Reached 3 total, but two following his championship, but 3 consecutive trips to the NCAA championship national football title game. It's all been deserving. He's an extremely talented, naturally gifted player. And obviously, when you have that much success at the high school level, at the college level, you deserve all the effusive praise and adulation that gets heaped onto you. And obviously, naturally, expectations will be heaped onto you as well. But the reward for all of that hard work is that you typically get drafted by a poorly run franchise. And in the NFL, when you have a top quarterback draft pick, you're typically drafted by a poorly managed franchise, a team that's bereft of talent. That's typically what happens. But the one thing that can offset that rookie quarterbacks absolutely must have, they absolutely need to have to be successful, especially in that first year, is stability. And when you think about the Jacksonville Jaguars and how they've been defined so far this preseason, it's been by utter disarray and instability. Those have been the 2 ways to define the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. You think about everything that's taken place. Urban Meyer, your new head coach, he hires for one day the former Iowa strength and conditioning coach who was accused of being a racist for using racial slurs at Iowa. So you have to fire him the day after you bring him in. Then we've got the whole Tim Tebow fiasco. Is he a quarterback? Is he a tight end? Is he actually trying out for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Is he going to make the roster? Is he going to make the team? Oh, wow, he made it past the first round of cuts. Is he going to make the actual 53-man roster? You have all of that as a whirlwind as the backdrop. And now to make matters worse, you've got the one source of stability, the one source of comfort for a guy in Trevor Lawrence, his former teammate at Clemson for several years, in Travis Etienne, and really one of the only weapons that they actually have at their disposal that was going to be featured a lot in the offense this year for Jacksonville, and he's likely now done for the entire season. The only weapons they already had without Travis Etienne was DJ Chark Jr. and Marvin Jones Jr., who are good wide receivers, but I don't even know if DJ Chark is a number 1 caliber wide receiver. Maybe he's a fringe number 1 caliber wide receiver at best. But now you've got no more depth at the running back position. Your offensive line isn't great. Your defense gave up the second most points and second most yards per game last year. Yeah, you signed Shaq Griffin, but they're not that much better this year than they were last year. And again, it's just compounded by your star running back, the guy that you took in the first round. Now he's done for the year. So, as a reward for all these accomplishments for Trevor Lawrence, for all the success he had, he gets to inherit this mess. He gets to inherit this team that's just already been ravaged by injuries and beset with deficiencies and all these issues. That's his reward. So, again, I think it obviously deals a major blow to Urban Meyer along with Trevor Lawrence, but this is an opportunity now for us to truly see the genius of Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence. Urban Meyer has been lauded as an incredible play caller, an incredible motivator at Ohio State. We'll see if that will translate to the NFL level. And Trevor Lawrence is supposed to have talent that can transcend even the worst of circumstances, even the worst team. So we'll see if those two can overcome this additional blow dealt to him. And then there's been all this bogus fodder that's been floating around about the potential rumors and the debates of whether or not Trevor Lawrence should actually play this year, whether the Jacksonville Jaguars should just rest him the whole season. I think that's ludicrous. I think that's absolutely bogus. You look historically, there have been so many quarterbacks that were extremely talented, taken number one overall, that inherited terrible teams. Peyton Manning, 1998, drafted number one overall by the Colts. That season, they went 3-13 his rookie year. Well, what did they do the following year? He followed that up with a 13-3 season. You look at John Elway with the Broncos. He was 4-6 his first year, 12-2 the second year. Terry Bradshaw, the first 2 years Terry Bradshaw was in the NFL, he was 8-13 record his first 2 years in the NFL. They did not win. Then he follows that up with an 11-3 season, and he goes on to win 4 Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, yeah, the first year might suck for Trevor Lawrence, might be terrible, but that's something you just have to play through. That's something you just have to play through, and it's as simple as that. But, wow, that's just a major blow, though, to a team that could ill afford to have another key cog go down. They could not afford to see that happen.